Allacademy. Always with you.
Hello my dear students, so welcome to Allacademy. So now we have come up with one different new session, that is VTU question paper solutions. So many students are asking us to give a solution for the question paper. So in this videos we'll going to give the solutions for the recent examination, whatever the VTU has conducted for the examination. For all those subjects we'll try to give the solutions. For example, the figures, what is the right figure, so what is the right answer for the numericals, all those things will be discussed in this session. And in this session we have chosen the first subject, that is the 7th semester BE examinations, which is recently happened, that is in January 2021. So we have chosen a subject that is 17 ME 71, that is a 7th semester mechanical subject, that is energy engineering. In this video we're going to give the complete solutions, answers for all the 10 questions from the all module 5 modules, from all the 5 modules. So whatever the 10 questions will appear in your examination question paper, for all those things we're going to give the solution, so that it will be very helpful to the students, so that they can expect how much marks they are expecting to get when the results will come out. So let us begin with this session without wasting much time. So in the recently the whatever the question paper what we have seen, so when compared to other previous year question paper, this year energy engineering question paper were very easy because all the questions are asked for 10 marks. The subject code was 17 ME 71. As I already said, it is related to mechanical 7th semester first subject. And then module 1, the first question is explain the principle of overfeed strokes with a neat sketch. So please note that here it is, they have clearly asked the principle for the overfeed stroke. But when I discussed with the students, many students have written the answers, different methods for overfeed strokes. So actually there are two types of feed strokes. One is overfeed and underfeed. So actual answer is the students need to draw this answer. The students need to draw this answer. The students who have drawn these figures and with all these chemical reactions and different stages, so they may expect full marks, or based on your writing skills and explanation you may expect a good marks. But those who have written different methods of overfeed strokes, so there is no chance of getting a marks, because the question is clearly mentioned, they have asked the principle of overfeed. So you need to explain what is the principle behind it, not the different methods of an overfeed stroke. And another one is a underfeed. Some students have said, sir, we have written underfeed strokes. So then even in that case also you may get a very minimum marks, that I can say that 1 or 2 marks, because you have written something. So based on some courtesy, the evaluator may give 1 or 2 marks. Those who have written this, those who have drawn this figure and with all these chemical reaction, and who have written with a neat explanation, they may expect a good number of marks. And the second question, that is B, explain hydraulic ash handling process with a neat sketch. It is clearly mentioned it is a hydraulic ash handling process. So in hydraulic ash handling process there are two methods. One is for low velocity, another one is a high velocity. So this is for high velocity and this is for low. Okay, so those who have drawn these figures, they may expect a complete marks. Condition is you have to explain the steps properly in a point wise or in a descriptive manner, in a paragraph wise. So for both the things you need to explain it. So those who have drawn these figures and given a right explanation, you may expect a good number of marks for this question. And the next question was a numerical. So even this numerical was on purely on a chimney. So I don't want to read this question, because already you have the question paper. So for this question, it was asked for 10 marks. You need to identify the draught in meter or mm of water, and another one is a draught in a meter of hot gases, because chimney there will be hot gases will be there, even water will be circulating. So he has asked the draught in mm of water and in draught in meter of hot gases. Please note that Some students have got the answer, but they have written wrong units. So actual answer is, this is the right answer. So the draught in mm of water is 15 mm of water, you need to write it, and this is the right answer. And for draught in meter of hot gas is 24.6 meter of hot gases. Those the students who have attempted this question, who have got these answer, you may directly get the 10 out of 10 marks. Okay, so this was in mm of water, and this is in meter of hot gases. So some students have made a mistake, they have written both in mm, so there will be some reduction in the marks because of wrong unit. And in the module 1, that is in the second question B, it was a question, theory question, that is explain the central or bin system burning pulverized coal. It is clearly asked, central or bin system burning pulverized coal. So for this one, this is a figure you need to draw. This figure you need to draw. So those who have drawn this one, those who have drawn this figure, and with a proper explanation who have written, so you may expect a good number of marks in there. But some students have drawn a different diagram. In such condition, you may expect very minimum marks. Let us move to the next module, that is module 2. So in this one, module 2, when I look into the module 2 questions, it was a very easy questions, both third question as well as fourth question, main question, both the questions very easy. So many students have attempted the third main question. So when I interacted with the students, they said we have attempted the third main question. So the third question was, with a neat diagram, explain the general layout of diesel power plant. So the right answer for this one is what I am showing here. So this is a right answer or right figure, general layout for a diesel power plant. Those students have drawn this one, they may expect a full marks. Condition is that you have explained all the parts like fuel tank, pump, diesel power plant, whatever, filters, pump, compressor, so you heat exchanger, you need to explain all these different parts at least of 2 lines. So if you have done this one, you may expect a good number of marks based on your writing skills. And some students said that they have drawn another figures, that is based on the capacities. Based on the capacities, they have given some different diagrams in the textbook. So those who have drawn those things, so you may expect a minimum marks. But those students who have drawn this figure and written a good explanation for generalized layout of diesel power plant, they can expect a good marks in this, for this question. Next one is a very important, that is a third B question, very simple question, and even the same question is asked in your you have studied the same thing in your EME also, that is explain the general layout for hydroelectric power plant with a neat sketch. Very simple question, and the diagram for this one is this what you are seeing now. So those students who have drawn this one, and some students have drawn the top view, so that is also right. If you have drawn the top view, then the marks will be given, no need to worry. And those who have drawn this one or the top view of this hydroelectric power plant, you may get a complete marks. So you need to explain the reservoir, catchment area, source tank, penstock, then you need to explain turbine, then the draft tube, then how this after generating the power, how this transmission will be done. So all those things you need to explain for this question. So if you have done all these things, you can get a good number of marks. The next question, that is in module 2, that is the fourth main question. Classify the, clearly mentioned, they have classify the hydroelectric power plant based on the head. Explain each type of plant in detail. So you need to classify it and you need to explain it. This question is asked for 10 marks. So you need to classify them, we just mention them, so you will get a 1 marks. And if you explain all the different kinds, 3 marks will be allotted for each case. So basically these hydroelectric power plants are classified based on the 3 types. One is based on the quantity of water available, then head of water available, then based on the nature of load, then the capacity. But for this question, they have clearly mentioned classify the hydroelectric power plant based on the head. So this is a right answer, based on the head, low head, medium head, then high head plant. So those who have drawn these figures and those who have listed this, first list ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, then those who have attempted this question, you may get a good number of marks. Okay, and even some students said that they have based on the capacity they have written it. So in that case you may not get a complete marks. So those who have purely written based on the head, for these 3 marks for individually they will be there given, and for this one 1 marks will be allotted. The next question in the that is a module 2, that is with a neat sketch explain the pump fuel injection system. With a neat diagram explain the pump fuel injection system. Now this is a pump fuel injection system. There are 2 types of pump fuel injection. One is inline pump fuel injection, another one is a rotary fuel pump injection. Those who have drawn both the diagrams and who have explained both the figures, then you can get the full marks. Those who have drawn one, you may expect half of the marks. So there are 2 types of pump fuel injection. One is rotary and another one is a inline pump fuel injection. Both the diagrams I have shown it here. So one is fuel pump based on, this is a rotary type, this is a rotary type, and this is a inline fuel pump injection. Both the figures you can get it here. So let us do the next question. Explain the pyranometer with a neat sketch. This is from module 5, that is 5th main question. Explain pyranometer with a neat sketch to measure the beam and diffused radiation. So this is clearly given pyranometer. So for this one you have to draw this figure. But many students have made a confusion and they have drawn pyroheliometer, that is a long tube section which the radiation will be reflecting. So those who have drawn that figure, you may expect only 1 or 2 marks, that too based on the courtesy of an evaluator. Because if you have written a completely wrong answer, so you have written a wrong answer because the clearly it is asked, it is a pyranometer, so you have to draw this figure, or in some textbooks some modification in the diagram is there, so you can draw that one also. So this question yaar bardidira, so you can expect a complete marks. Now in the 5th B, that is with a neat diagram, explain the typical solar flat plate collector. So they have asked 5th B 10 marks question, solar flat plate collector. So this is a schematic figure or a diagram for the solar flat plate collector. In some textbook they have given a flat surface with the radiation incident. So those who have drawn that figure also, you can get a good number of marks. And some students have taken along with this one, they have drawn the solar water heater by connecting the flat, showing this flat tube, and they have connected to some solar water heating application they have explained. Even for that also you may expect a full marks. So those who have drawn this diagram, you may expect a full marks for the solar flat plate collector. And in module 3, the next question is the 6th question, that is 6th A. What are the main advantages of solar cell? Explain the conversion of a solar energy to electrical energy through a photovoltaic cell. So in this question there are 2 questions. One is advantages and another one is a explanation to convert the solar energy into electrical energy. So half of marks will be, some marks will be distributed to the advantages of a solar cell, and some marks will be distributed to the conversion of a solar energy into electrical energy. Now here I have listed some of the advantages. So if you have written these or some other different advantages also, then it is okay. And with respect to the conversion of a solar energy into electrical energy, the photovoltaic cell figure I have shown here. So this is a photovoltaic cell figure. So those who have drawn this one or similar figure with the N type, P type, and naming all those parts and explaining how this conversion will take place, how this solar radiation received and how this solar energy is converted with the help of this N and P type silicon categories. So based on that you may get a full marks. So those, some students said that they have written only advantages, they have not written the conversion of this photovoltaic cell, solar energy to electric energy. For that you may expect a half marks because both the questions are combined together and asked. So you may get a half marks in this question, and those who have written both the questions, you may expect a complete marks. Now the 6th B question is, very important and purely based on the thermal aspect. Explain the phase heat storage concept. Explain phase heat, that is nothing but latent heat storage concept. Explain the property of a material used in the latent heat. Explain the properties they have said. Then comment on the latent heat storage of a material. Storage material, you have to comment on the latent heat storage material. For this one, what is this latent heat storage concept? You need to explain it. So latent heat storage uses the phase transition of a material. Phase transition of a material. So you need to explain how this phase transition will takes place. That you have to explain it. Then there are different latent heat storage materials are there. One is organic, inorganic, and next one is eutectics. So again there are subcategories. You need to if you have drawn these categories, then that will be more advantageous. Then for the properties in a GD Wright textbook, they have clearly mentioned 9 points that tells the properties of a material that can be used for the latent heat storage. So that can used for a heat storage substance or a heat storage systems. So if those points, if you have written it, so then you will get a definitely complete marks. Then examples, you have to write the example, because the properties means you have to take some of the names of these latent heat storage exams. The Glauber's salt, water, salt eutectic, organic component, FeNO3, 2.6 H2O. So these are the examples for some of the latent heat storage materials. So these are the materials, these are the classification, this is a concept. And there are 9 points which are mentioned in a GD Wright textbook. So if you have a non-conventional energy resources textbook, so if you have written those points, then you will get a complete 10 marks, because here he has asked the concept, he has asked, then he has asked properties of a material, then he also said to comment on the heat storage materials. So in marks will be distributed for all the sections. So let us move to the module 4. Next, the question was derive the expression for power of a windmill with a condition. So power of a windmill. So you need to calculate the power equation. So the actual equation is a P available, that is P maximum will be equals to half rho AV cube Cp. So those who have derived this equation, so you will get a complete marks. Okay, and you need to explain, because the condition is said, what is this Cp, you need to explain it. Cp is a 0.593, that is Bedd's constant or Bedd's equivalent or Bedd's coefficient. So you need to explain that part also, because whatever the steps are there, the marks will be distributed for all those steps. If you have written only the final equation, then you may expect 1 or 2 marks. So you have to derive the equation, assume the conditions, all those things. So the marks will be distributed by step. But this is a main derivation or main final equation you need to derive for this question. Next question is that is module 4, that is 7th B. With a neat diagram, explain the single basin storage tidal power plant and also comment on the advantages of a tidal power plant. So he has asked to explain the single basin. So this is a single basin. Storage tidal power plant, and these are the few advantages I have mentioned it. Okay. If you have written only the advantages, you will get a half marks. If you have written only the single basin, you will get a half marks, because marks will be distributed for both the things. And in a module 4, that is 8th main question, in that one, explain the typical horizontal axis windmill with a neat sketch. So he has asked to draw with a neat sketch and explain the horizontal axis windmill. So here is a schematic diagram for a horizontal windmill. So you need to label all these components, and if time is permitted, you should draw this transmission, how this, or here also you can show it continuously how this transmission will takes place. So you need to explain how these different components like gear, then generator, then this structure, blade, all those components you need to explain it, and how the power is generated and how this power is transmitted to the wherever required places. So you need to explain all those things with a neat figure. Those who have done this, attempted this question, they may expect a complete marks. And the next question is, what are the different resources that can be used as a biomass for a biogas generation? Many students have made a mistake for this question. By seeing this word different, they have written the different types of biogas generators, like a floating, dome type, fixed dome. Although they have written all those, actually it is clearly given resources, means which are the resources you use as a biomass generator. So for that one, here I have given a picture that tells the different resources like animal waste, municipal solid waste, sewage, then agricultural crop waste, forest crops and residues, industrial residues. All these things are used as resources for a biomass generation. Many students have written different answers. Very simple question, you can easily write it, and if you just list the resources, you will get a marks. And if you explain each type of, like how these animal waste are used, how sewage waste are used, how agriculture crops are collected and how they are used, if you explained all those things, then you will get a complete type marks. But many students have written the fixed dome type or floating dome or all those things, different types of biogas plants you have explained it. For those things you won't get marks, only one or two marks, only that you have written something. Based on that courtesy, they may give 1 marks. But those who have written these all things, so you may expect a complete good number of marks. Now next question is, describe the photosynthesis process with a relevant chemical reaction. Please note that photosynthesis process you need to explain. Everyone know this question, but you need to give the relevant chemical reaction. That is very important because he clearly mentioned it. You need to give the chemical reactions. Also explain the importance of photosynthesis in biofuel generation. That is very important. Biofuel generation, how this photosynthesis will help out. So for this one, here is a figure, very a simple figure, generalized photosynthesis process we have studied from our school days, and you can easily explain this, how this photosynthesis process will take place. Then here is a chemical reaction. So those who have written this chemical reaction, you may get a marks. Those who have not written a chemical reaction, you may not get complete marks. And here also a small figure is there, even if you have drawn this one also, so there is a chance of getting good number of marks. And also you need to explain how these photosynthesis will helps in the biofuel generation. So all those concepts you need to explain it. But when I discussed with the students, they said that they have not written a chemical reaction, so they may get a full mark. No, they won't get a full marks because it is clearly mentioned in the question. You have with a relevant chemical reaction. So chemical reaction has to be written. So when the whatever question is asked, if you are not able to write the complete answer, means so you won't get a complete marks. In the module 5, the 9th B question is, explain the closed Rankine cycle for ocean thermal energy conversion system, OTEC system. Closed Rankine cycle. Many students have drawn the open cycle. So this is the actual figure for the closed Rankine cycle. Okay, this is an actual figure for a closed Rankine cycle. So here closed means you need to, the fuel has to be recirculated continuously. Here I am showing whatever I am highlighting. This is a fuel. So this will be continuously recirculating within the cycle. This is a closed cycle. And in some textbook, instead of heat exchanger, they have mentioned evaporator. That is also right. No need to worry. So this is, you need to have the pump, heat exchanger or evaporator, then turbine, generator, condenser, then again pump for cooling water supply, then this generator has to be mentioned. So if you have mentioned all these components, then you may expect a marks, and you have to explain it, how these evaporation will take place, then what is the next process, then what happens in turbine, then how this turbine means the when it enters it will expand in a turbine, then again as the turbine rotates the generator will produce the electricity. All those things, the explanation you have to write it either in a point wise or in a paragraph. No need to worry, you can explain based on your convenience. The last main question in the question paper in the module 5 was explain with a neat sketch water dominated geothermal system. Water dominated geothermal system. Many students have not attempted this question, they have attempted the 9th question. So the answer for this one is here is a figure. So those students who attempted this question and who have drawn this figure, they can explain. When they are able to draw the figure means they can explain easily, because all the conditions will be knowing: separator, cooling tower, turbine, then a decontact condenser, pump, generator. So you know all those things how they will work, so you can explain it. And the last question in this question paper was what is the work of a fuel cell? What is the work of a fuel cell? Explain the typical H2O fuel cell with a neat sketch. H2O fuel cell. So what is a fuel cell? A fuel cell works like a battery. So it works like a battery based on the reaction between the hydrogen and the oxygen. Based on the reaction between the hydrogen and oxygen, so it acts as a batteries. Okay. Now that is a work cell. So it acts as a battery. Now here is an H2O2 fuel cell. Okay, this diagram, those who have drawn this figure, and some textbooks, some modification will be there, so that will be accepted. So those who have drawn this one, so you may expect a complete marks for this question. So this is all the solutions or the answers for the questions for the 17 ME 71, that is energy engineering subject. So all the 10 questions I have explained it. Those who have attempted, so when I discuss with the students, many students have attempted the question number 1, question number 3, question number 5, then question number 8 and question number 9. So most of students have attempted these questions, but many students have made a mistake, especially in question number first A, that is overfeed stroke. Principle they have asked, but the students have attempted written different methods for the overfeed stroke. And whereas in a pyrometer, so the pyronometer is asked, students have written pyroheliometer, they have written. Again there is also a mistake. Then some students have made a mistake in a diesel power plant general layout. It is asked, students have drawn the different based on the capacities they have drawn it. And again the questions like numerical they have not attempted. Only one question they have attempted, because based on the different head it is asked. So that was a question, easy question, so they have only written one question. The numerical they have not written. And again in the photosynthesis process, the chemical reactions the students have not written. Only they have written the photosynthesis process and the importance of the photosynthesis for biofuel generation. Now at least now based on these solution, now you may expect where you have done a mistake and how much marks you may expected. So you in the next session also we'll come up with different solutions for a different question paper. And if you like this video, you can comment it. And if you are feel that any question whatever we have given the answers in this video, it is wrong, you just comment it and we'll try to rectify the mistake in the video. And if you like the video, kindly share to your friends, so that even they will able to get to know how much marks they are expecting in this subject.
Click on subscribe button and press the bell icon to get updates from Allacademy.